Good morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. If you're joining me, I'd appreciate you saying hello in the comments so I can see who's following along. But I will give people a moment to find me here and get started. I am Nancy Hetker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Melbourne, Australia. And today I have decided I am going to do a one-sheet wonder, and I'll explain what that is in just a moment. But I'm going to show you first here. This is the Flower and Field Designer Series paper, which is I've chosen one of the sheets of this paper. There's the one I've chosen for today. It is a pack of paper from the celebration that's going on through the end of February. And with a minimum $90 purchase here in Australia, you can get this paper absolutely for free. And it's really pretty, lots of nice bright florals, and then some coordinating patterns that you can use as well. There's a couple of what I call the backside, the B-side patterns used on some projects. So I'm going to be using this sheet of paper, probably mostly with I think those are daisies, daisy side up, although we might do one or two featuring the leaf motif. Hello Roseanne, and hello Paula, thanks for joining me today. And then let me show you what a one sheet wonder is. So this is not drawn to scale, but this represents a 12 by 12 or 12 by 12 inch or 30.5 centimeter square piece of designer series paper. And this designer, who is Carolyn King, has figured out a template to divide it up into pieces to be used on cards. And this template makes 12 cards. She did another one that I printed out here. This one makes 14 cards. And for various reasons, I chose to use this template instead. And she's actually gone through, and this one she did several years ago. So this is retired designer series paper, but she shows how she put the cards together. So I'm using different paper, different colors, but same or at least similar layouts to do my own version of this. And I really like this one. I find I'm kind of swimming in paper. This is a creative way to use up an entire sheet of paper and get a bunch of cards for it. Besides just, doing the love it, chop it into the fronts and stick a sentiment on there. This has I feel a little more creativity involved with it. So I'm going to start by cutting up my sheet of paper, and I wanted to show you a little bit of how I approach one of these templates. I look for the places where we're going to cut the paper at the same measurement all the way across, which are these two horizontal cuts on this one. And then for this paper, it doesn't really matter which way I orient it for either side of it. But if some papers, it will matter, because like the flowers have stems coming out of them, and you want to make sure the stems are oriented the right way. So for this one, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and I will get started cutting here. Oh, the other thing is you can find templates to do these on Pinterest. You just put it into Pinterest, One Sheet Wonder, and you'll get a cajillion of them. That's a technical term, cajillion. And I found when I moved to Australia and started working in centimeters that I actually had to specify centimeters. And yes, you can use ones that are cut in inches, but it's easiest to do one that's cut in centimeters because the proportions work right for the paper. And I've talked about that before, how letter cardstock and A4 cardstock come out with different proportions of rectangles, and it makes a difference. So my first cut is actually going to be at 7.5 centimeters. So there's that one. And I'm going to set the rest of it aside. I'm going to go ahead and cut the 3 card parts that come from this strip. So I've got one piece at 7.5. Oh, and I will just let you know that this is going to be a longer video, but I'm not gonna complete all 12 cards right now. I'll probably work on a couple. I'll work on a couple of them now. Oh, Nancy, you just did that wrong as you went. Can't talk and measure at the same time. Yep. Unfortunately, I have another piece of this paper. So what I was saying was I'm not going to complete all of these in this session. What I'm going to do is start them here and do a couple of the cards, and then tomorrow morning at the same time, I will be hosting a Zoom crafting session for anyone who wants to come. The information is up on my Facebook page. I will post a link here as well. And I'll finish off the rest of the cards during that, I believe, if you want to tune in and see that. And I will show them on my blog as well. Okay, so let's do another strip of 7.5 to make up for the one that I just messed up. And this one is supposed to be 10 centimeters. And 10 centimeters again. And then 3 of them at 3.5. So there's 3.5. 3.5, and this one is also already 3.5. Okay, so the other thing I've found that is helpful when doing these is to have some Post-its ready to go that are labeled for the cards. So this one that I just did, the 3 strips of 3.5, that one is actually for card number 3. So I can just do that, and now I have these pieces for card number 3. And I don't have to keep thinking about which one is this, which one is this. I know that's for card number 3, except it's actually card number 5. She used a really bad font. This one's for card number 3. And 3s and 5s look a lot alike when I've printed this out. So okay, so these are actually with card 5. And this is for card 6. Okay, then the next part. This one is 13.8 centimeters. And then 9.5. And that's actually going to get cut on the diagonal. So I think you can see that here. And what I do is I just line up opposite corners on the cutting track. Like so. So that is card number 11. And card number 9. So now those are ready to go. And 9.5 again. So that's card number 12. Now this one gets a little complicated. By 5 by 9. So 7.5. 2, 4, 6, 7.5. Yep. 7.5 by 9. Sorry, this is probably the most boring thing ever, this part, but. And then this part gets cut into 6 2.5 centimeter squares. Two and a half. Really? Interesting. Doesn't quite cut at 2.5. Well, we'll make it pretty close. See how it comes out in the end. One, 2, 3. This is card number 4. And then this plus okay, this is going to take a little bit of chopping down. 3.5 by 10. That's card number 1. And then this goes to 2.5. This one goes with this one. And that is card number 10. Hey Renata, how are you? And then the remaining piece here should be not. Very interesting. It is not actually 9. Point 3. That's card number 2. And 13.3. Card number 8. Where was number 10 here? 10 is also apparently going to have .9. This piece. So we will add that in there. Okay, so I now have my 12 by 12 piece cut up into its various pieces, and I've labeled them so I don't have to keep going in and remeasuring now. Which one is this one supposed to be? So now I'm going to go and look at what she did for card number 1. And again, this template and her blog post about it is several years old, so she used a different designer series paper. I've chosen to use a current designer series paper from the Celebration offerings, Flower and Field. So for all of these, she used like Balmy, I guess, Pool Party for her mats and Whisper White for her other layers. And I'm going to be doing a little mixing it up. I thought I would be using a bunch of white, and I may still. But I noticed that she used the white was the same color as the background on her designer series paper, so I thought I would try one where I'm going to do a bunch of black. I think I could put this first one on the Granny Apple Green base, because you can see this is card number 1. That's the color of the leaves. So let me score to make the base here. And then cut my base. So working on A4 paper, I score at 14.8 and I cut it at 10.5, and that gets me an upright easel vertical card. And then the other layers I need, the mat is come here. 10 by 14.4. And then there's another piece of Granny Apple Green. the right piece to cut down. 7.5 by 7.5. I know, lots of cutting today. And then I think another piece of black. That's 7. By 7. Looky that. And then one more piece of is that 10? Yeah. So 4.4 by 10. Okay, so I'm going to trim that down a little bit. Okay. So she did a bunch of texture on the big panels. So I'm going to bring in my big balls. And I think on this one, I'm going to use the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder. I'll just run that through there. Let's see how we're going here. So that's going to go on there. Can you see all the embossing? Yes, you can. That's going to layer on there. And that's going to go on there. And now I'm going to do, I've got a couple daisy punches, so I'm going to bring in and sort of recreating these more impressionistic daisies that are there. I guess they're actually kind of lined up right on the petals. And a bit of yellow. I'm going to use, I think, one of these for the center. Okay, so I'm going to do some gluing here. I still need to come up with a sentiment for this one. Got a little bit hanging over there, so I'm just going to trim that. Do some glue on there. Some glue on here. So, since we last met up here, we here in Melbourne have been put on lockdown for having, I think we're up to like 19, 20 cases of COVID coming out of hotel quarantine. It broke out. But everything seems to indicate that we are going to have that lifted as scheduled tonight at midnight, which is a good thing because we've all been kind of waiting to see, keep debating whether to put that up on dimensionals, and I think I will, even though that one isn't, but I'm going to put this on first. Yeah, so I have a class scheduled for Saturday, and I've been waiting to see if I'm going to be able to hold it in person or have to send kits to do it online, because it changes what I would do for the class. But it looks like I'll be able to do it in person, so I'm back to plan A, which is good. Glue on there. And yeah, I do, every once in a while I come back to these one sheet wonders. I do like the concept of them. I'm feeling naked. I don't have my grid paper down. Okay, there's that. And I'm going to put one of these lighter gems in there. Now I just need a sentiment, and I brought a whole bunch of sentiment. Da, da, da. And when in doubt, I go for birthdays. just barely. Maybe I better go up one. Yep. Just run that through the cut and emboss really fast. And we'll do a mat for it as well, because why not? Okay, so we will do that. And pop it up. There we go, card number 1. And it gets a piece inside to write on. Okay, let's work on card number 2. Which is this one. So let's find the piece for card number 2. There we go. And we'll figure out how we want to, what we want to put that one on. That one maybe we'll do on yellow. Now this one, since it's a horizontal card, I'm actually going to score and cut it the other way, scoring at 10.5 and cutting at 14.8, 14.9. I could split the difference. And that gives me the easel fold going that direction. And now a mat. I don't think black this time. I think the Granny Apple green. So one reason I like this, okay, so that's too big. If I actually read the directions, I'd probably be able to know that. What did she say she did for card 2? Yeah. Okay. That's better. And then we'll do a sentiment on this strip. Could do a happy birthday. What did she do on hers? Sending smiles. That's a retired set. This says, I made you a card because you're worth it. We're gonna have a little fun. And I managed to get black ink on my fingers, on my palm. There we go. And I'm going to snip this off here. And flag it. What I do is I come in from the back side. I love my take a pick tool for all kinds of things, including this. And I'm making sure that that's centered. There are grooves for specific measurements, but this kind of falls in between some of the measurements. And I can get that in the center there. This one's super fast and easy. It's going to go right like that. And I'm going to pop this one up. Come here. And pop that one up as well. So then the one thing left to figure out is, do we add a little sparkle to that? And I know for most of you the answer is always yes. And for some of you it's not. Yes, exactly. And this is, here's a card. Roseanne says, versatile sentiment inside, you can put happy birthday, thanks, whatever. And so they have thanks. That's where that happy birthday came from. Congratulations. Yeah, lots of good things. I'm gonna leave it for the time being because I can't figure that out right now. I do like, as a time saver, going ahead and cutting a lot of these panels. I use them as layers for, oops, that one I didn't pull the packer on. And then they're just all ready to go when I'm making cards. Should we do one more? Sure. So card number 3 is that one. Let me find the piece for it. It's one of the first ones I cut, I believe. 7, 8, 5. I think it's this one. Yep. And let's see. Do another basic black base at 10.5. Is that what I'm doing? No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm gonna do basic black. That's what I'm doing. Okay. And 5 by 8. Oh, yeah. Nope. Still nope. Okay. And 10.5. 8. But that's not what I wanted either. Sorry, brain struggling with color changes. Let's do one in okay. Here we go. There's my base. there's my mat. Gray. Now I need another mat. Seven 7.5 by 4. And then Whisper White is .5. Nice. Okay. Let's see here. And again, we want to dry emboss this. This time I'm going to use Scripty. So this just has script lettering on it. Maybe you can see that. That's going to go on there. Just get that on there. So I'm using a couple of colors today that aren't actually what the package says. For instance, they say that this blue is Pool Party and the blue in the package is Bumblebee. Well, I will tell you that it's only barely Pool Party, and it seems to work just fine with the balmy blue that I've chosen. And the yellow, if I had to pick one of them, I'd say it's more so Saffron than Bumblebee, but I'm choosing to go with Daffodil Delight. And part of that is because in addition to using up some of this paper stash I have, I also want to use up some of the ribbon I have from Celebration. I think it's 2 years ago even. I just dumped one of my pieces. What did I do? There we go. And the ribbon is going to go on this piece. And it's this ribbon. And it is balmy blue, but it works just fine all together here. So this is my Save a Ribbon, Save a Headache strategy that I use all the time, which is sticky tape on the back so I don't have to fill in the entire thing with ribbon, and then get it tied in a snug knot or bow, because that's really hard to do. really, really hard to do. Let's see if I can find another sentiment that I like. I like this birthday one as well. This is out of Best Year. I'm going to use this Happy Birthday to You. Double check, make sure I got it all inked nicely. Go. As always, I try to clean right away because inevitably I will drop it or drop something onto it if I haven't done that. Okay, so that's going to go onto there. And that's going to pop up. So even though the shapes are pretty simple, layers and dimension are the keys. If things are too flat, they don't look so good on our cards, I think. And then I'm going to take another bit of this and just go right like that. And now this one definitely needs some bling. Where's my package opening? Go. I like that. So I'm going to push them down. And there we go. So there's number 3. So like I said, tomorrow on my Zoom crafting session, I will be working some more on the rest of these. There is number 1, number 2, and number 3. And I hope you will come and join me when I Zoom. You don't have to be crafting. You don't have to have a project in mind. You can just come out and hang out and chat. We do that quite often, don't we, Paula? And yeah, you know, or bring something to work on. It certainly doesn't have to be paper crafting. I don't know that any of us pay bills by checks anymore, but you know, sometimes when there were such things going on in my mom's group, I would just bring my bills and sit and chat and pay them because I hated paying bills. But anyhow, that's what I have for you today. It is mid-February, just past mid-February, so you're down to just under 2 weeks to make a purchase and get this very cool Designer Series paper, which is very versatile and you can do lots of things with it. But I will be back here same time, same place next week. And in the meantime, see you on Zoom. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.